All right, here we are on the last day of the month, September 30th. Our topic today is the commission of the call. Now, real quick, I've had a few people ask me how they get this sent to them. And primarily I'm doing this for the people in my church, just so we're kind of going through the same devotionals, have the same things on our mind. But people have come across the channel or someone has sent it to you, and they ask me, how to get on the email list. Well, the quickest way, easiest way, just subscribe to the channel and click the little bell notification icon there. And anytime I upload a video, you'll get the notification the morning it comes out. But if you'd rather me send you an email, just go ahead and comment there on the video, and I'll add you to the list. But our topic this morning, the commission of the call, Colossians 1:24. Who now rejoice in my suffering for you, and fill up that which is behind of the afflictions of Christ in my flesh for his body's sake. We make calls out of our own spiritual consecration, but when we get right with God, he brushes all these aside and rivets us with a pain that is terrific to one thing we never dreamed of, and for one radiant flashing moment we see what he is after, and we say, quote, "Here I am, send me." This call has nothing to do with personal sanctification, but with being made broken bread and poured out wine. God can never make us wine if we object to the fingers he uses to crush us with. If God would only use his own fingers and make me broken bread and poured out wine in a special way. But when he uses someone whom we dislike, or some set of circumstances to which we said we would never submit, and makes those the crushers, we object. We must never choose the scene of our own martyrdom. If we are ever going to be made into wine, we will have to be crushed. You cannot drink grapes. Grapes become wine only when they have been squeezed. I wonder what kind of finger and thumb God has been using to squeeze you. And you have been like a marble and escaped. You are not ripe yet. And if God had squeezed you, the wine would have been remarkably bitter. To be a sacramental personality means that the elements of the natural life are presented by God as they are broken providentially in his service. We have to be adjusted into God before we can be broken bread in his hands. Keep right with God and let him do what he likes, and you will find that he is producing the kind of bread and wine that will benefit his other children. That's a powerful word when we really think of the idea of God pressing us, using circumstances that are going on in our life that we might see as negative to refine us, to perhaps discipline us, or just to grow us. He's that phrase in there, we must never choose our martyrdom. And I take that to be broad in the sense of we must never choose how God's going to refine us by suffering, by trials, by tribulations. And as he says, if God were doing the pressing him with his own fingers and thumbs and squeezing us out, we knew it was of God, we'd welcome it. But when it's people we don't like, or circumstances to which as he says, we would never submit, or we would never go for that, or that's against what I believe, right? Or I dislike that person, that can't be God disciplining me through him or through that circumstance. And yet God might be trying to refine us, work out those flaws in our personality, in our character, and refine us, as he says here, into, like that last line, he is producing the kind of bread and wine that will benefit his other children, that we can be used for his glory to the world once he refines us, once he presses us, once he crushes us and refines all that's out of us, not just sanctify us, which is a process of holiness and setting us apart, but of really using the trials and tribulations of life to produce something that's good and whole, and might even seem negative at the time. Might seem we're undergoing demonic attack, perhaps, and we need to pray for wisdom and discernment in that, because there can be attacks on us that we do need to pray against. And yet there might be God using the mundane circumstances of life, people we dislike, situations we don't want to be in. And there's a lot of those right now, right? There are a lot of things and situations and ordinances that we're like, hey, I don't want to submit to that. I don't want to go through that. And yet that can be God refining us through that, even though it's something that might not be good. So pray about those things today and see how God, one, wants to use you and what God wants to work out in you so that he could truly use you in some way for the world and for the other believers and Christians that need to use your gifts, but you need to be refined. So ponder that today. We'll see you tomorrow.